You ready? I am a car. Like to go places. Like to go places. Abolish private property. 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 I am a car. I like to go places. I like to go places. Abolish private property. 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 I'm a car.
All right, so we're here with My Ancestor. We're here with Clifford, Fran, and Eve.
Hi.
Hey.
That was them in reverse order.
just to clarify.
They are a local punk band or a boom. What is it?
Boom crash queercore. Okay.
Getting down to the specifics, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm Jace of Incest Princess,
And I'm Ronnie of Doggy Days.
and this is Getting Milked with My Ancestor. How do you guys know each other?
Well, Eve and I go way back because we actually come from the same loins down the line.
A little bit farther down the line, yeah.
Yeah, we're second cousins, actually.
Second cousins.
I'm a tangential brother to Fran, and I met Eve. I met Eve and we started a band.
Yeah.
Cliff and I met in high school whenever I was like 16 and I was like 15 and Cliff was 14. And then eventually circumstances had it that we started living together. In our last year of high school, that's when we wrote Trappy.
That was the one you played today.
Yeah, that was it. That was the first song that Cliff and I wrote.
So what made you decide to form a band?
I made like a story post on Instagram about wanting to start a hardcore band. And Fran was like, well, we should start that together. Turns out we were talking about two different versions of hardcore. I was really into heavy shit at the time, and then Fran just ended up sending me a playlist of like music, and I was like, okay, we can do this as well. I'm perfectly fine with that. And then we did one practice, just the two of us, and then the next time, Fran was like, yeah, Clifford just wanted to play with us. They wanted to be in the band, so that's really mostly the whole story.
Yeah, we were birthed out of a series of happenstance and miscommunications.
That's how it goes.
We just happened to all be there at the same time. And
during COVID.
I'm good at bugging. Yeah, I was around. I was bored.
COVID.
I feel like COVID was kind of the final nail in the coffin for Springfield.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's an understatement. It was
Yeah.
like a lot of nails all
Yeah.
at once.
Well, yeah, because it was kind of like a roller coaster, and then COVID happened, and all of a sudden nothing was open anymore. Everything was closing down. None of the venues, like the Outland, like they don't do anything anymore.
No, I remember them doing their shirt to try to raise money to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
And then sadly, the shirt did not save them. Cool shirt, though.
Good shirt.
What do you guys do for a living?
I have 2 jobs currently. I do like park maintenance at the Japanese stroll garden in town, and go out to like all the different parks and I don't know, like cut the grass or like throw some seed, whatever the job entails.
Spreading the seed, okay.
And then on the weekends, I work at a coffee shop.
Totally just tapped the mic. I'm a librarian actually.
Oh.
Which might be talking it up a little bit. Because technically my job title, I'm not a librarian, but I do work at the library. I move books around.
You have the glasses?
I do wear glasses, actually.
Oh.
I also have a glasses chain. They give you one whenever you start the job.
They give you
actually.
one? You
No,
are
but
a
they do
librarian.
have. Yeah.
You like get on to kids for being too loud and like all that.
See, no, I have the most non-confrontational, most like menial labor-centered job in it. Sometimes it happens though. I had somebody argue with me on the size of like my inseam once while I was in the stacks. The libraries are way different than how they're portrayed. But that's a story for a different time.
I work at National Audio.
Okay.
They make tapes. I specifically work a machine called the Slitter, which is a hellhole.
What is a slitter? What does that even entail?
So they make this really big like wad of film. Basically, it's all in like a circle. And I have to cut it. I have to like send it through a machine that cuts it into like an eighth of an inch strips.
Okay.
And it like makes like 40 of those, and that's most of my job. But it's all really thin film and a machine that was not meant to do what it's doing right now. So if you see me in that audio, please don't fire me for saying that's a hellhole. Love you.
You know, like I work in a kitchen and like sometimes I'll see like something's really hot. And I'll think, you know, like, should I touch it? You know, like I know it's really hot, but like in my brain, I'm like, I should like touch it. Do you ever like think about just like in the slitter, just like, you know?
All the time. All the time. I just see it and it's spinning blades. And I'm like, well, I mean, I could just you know, what's it like to get my hand cut into 1/8 inch strips?
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen? I mean,
no. But yeah, it's a pretty good. It's the best job I've had so far. Beats Walmart.
oh yeah.
But yeah.
So how have any of you other fellas worked at Walmart before? No.
No.
So 3 of us have worked at Walmart and it sucked. He's worked at Walmart. I've worked at Walmart.
Yeah.
I got in trouble for having a stalker at Walmart. Yeah.
That sounds right.
A coworker of mine was stalking me.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, she was stalking me. So there was this crazy girl. I don't remember her name. I probably wouldn't say her name anyway. But my girlfriend at the time had Facebook. You might notice, like Sarah Piltz.
Yeah. I know of them.
Okay.
At the very least.
So your guy's dad knows her. She was in Violet Lockets.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But there was this girl I worked with, and she was sending. So there was this guy, this random dude on Facebook, sending her and also my other family members and another coworker of mine all this weird stuff about my girlfriend at the time. And we figured out that this guy that was talking to all these people didn't exist. So I confronted her about it because I'm not dealing with that shit. And her being the crazy person that she was, told my one of my managers that I was stalking her. So I was yelled at on the sales floor for stalking my stalker.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. Yeah.
I love Walmart management.
Oh yeah.
They're all great people.
Yes.
They're all so supportive of their employees.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they're geniuses.
Yeah. That's not my only story of being stalked at a place that I worked, but
how does this happen to you?
I don't know.
I'm so sorry.
It's not fun. Okay, here's a fun question. So which of you guys plays which instrument?
We all play every instrument in this band.
What? Woo, yeah.
I started by playing guitar. I'm just gonna like short notes my musical history here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I started with playing guitar, and then the first time I played bass was actually Fran's bass, and I just remembered it was the top 4 strings of a guitar. So like I practiced bass, as in like I would try to play bass lines on my guitar. Because before that point, before age 14, thought the bass was like an entirely different deal.
I mean, it depends. You can't really play slap bass on the guitar.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was in like band for a while, so like bass clef is like a whole different
it is.
parade, you know. So I was just like
pun intended, right?
yeah, actually. The fuck parades, marching band. Anywho, I didn't learn drums until we started this band. How Was Your Day Today was the first song I wrote on drums, pretty much.
Okay.
And then keyboard I kind of just picked up along the way. So we're trying to like add a lot more keyboard into our like newer songs.
Oh yeah.
Because we're all kind of learning keyboard.
Because it's fun to just play different things, right?
It's fun to yeah.
It's fun, and also a few of us just can't make up their minds. Which,
commitment issues.
Yeah, commitment issues. As a very big buzzword for this band. I started playing drums and bass mostly. I knew guitar. I had taught myself how to do like bar chords and power chords. But I've always been really afraid of like doing anything beyond like playing the guitar rhythmically, like the drums or the bass.
Okay.
So stepping outside of that comfort zone. I think the first song I wrote lead part for was Hemolymph. Which I still like somehow. Like for the first lead part I wrote.
Though you write bass lines like lead part.
Yeah. That's
They're
a
very
that,
melodic.
that's
Rhythm player.
that's one of
Hell
Eve's
yeah.
biggest gripes with the way that we play the bass.
I wouldn't call it a gripe.
Have
I gotten mad?
You've complained multiple times, like you guys write bass like it's the lead guitar. That's not what you sound like. I'm sorry.
Just like Eve.
That's just like me.
What's your musical history?
Thanks. I started with the first thing I played was piano.
Okay.
Which is fucked up because I'm the worst keyboard player of everyone who's in the band. But I played it basically. My parents were like, if you can do piano lessons for like 2 years, we will buy you a drum set. And like at 12, like 10 or 12, I was like, fuck yeah. And then I gave up like a year and a half in, and they still got me the drum set. I finessed myself into that one somehow.
It's interesting that they're like, all right, learn the piano, and then we're gonna get you a drum set.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, they are. But it was like, I think it was
technically. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. I think it was an attempt to like get me to like learn the basics of music.
Yeah.
But as a child with ADHD, my mind was set on drums. I just kind of barely learned how to plug through shit. But
Percussion instrument.
yeah, the hammers.
Facts.
Yeah, it's a hammer. It's a hammer. And then again have ADHD, so at some point I got bored of the drums. And then went to guitar. And I like from I think I was like 13 when I first got a guitar or something like that, 12 or 13. And I like played the shit out of that, learned pretty fast in comparison. But then, like most things in my life, I just stopped. So, and then I picked up bass because it's the same thing as guitar, and I wanted to. And I play all of them horribly.
But you know a little bit about a lot of them.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I just kind of I let them write stuff most of the time, and then I bullshit my way through a part, or they give me a part. Do you want it?
I think Eve is selling herself short here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my 2 cents on the matter, but
I mean, listening to your the one that I just listened to on Spotify before you guys got here is like the quality is good, and you guys do really good for a punk. You know, I mean, I've been around Springfield and I've heard some other punk bands, and like you guys are pretty good. And I think you guys, you guys do a good job. And it's interesting that you guys all are interested in learning a bunch of different instruments because like I do the same thing. You know, I've been doing all my stuff solo for a long time, and it's like what you guys said. It's like going from like, oh, I want to play the drums, or I want to play the bass, or I started playing guitar, and then I went to playing bass on the guitar, and then I went to playing drums with other people, and then keyboard here and there, and it's it really expands the abilities and like what you can do with the music that you play.
Yeah.
Plus, I've seen you guys quite a few times, and you guys are fucking awesome.
Well, thank you.
You're like by far my favorite band in Springfield, like hands down.
Can I ask what song you're listening to?
The whole album. It was Keys to Abundant Living.
Okay.
We like
I didn't notice you had AEC pulled up when we walked in, and Eve wrote the guitar part to that song that fucking makes it.
I would like.
So the whole time she was selling herself short, it's pulled up on the computer over there. Just saying proof.
Oh shit.
Oh my god. I'm taking it off of all streaming platforms.
So what was the first show you guys like saw? Like individually?
Oh wow.
I think mine was I went and saw Agent Orange at the Outland.
That was your first show.
And it was literally, I think, did Susie Trash and the Reach-Arounds both open for them? Yeah. So I loved, like, I watched the Reach-Arounds, and like at that time I was like 14. I was into like butt rock.
Yeah.
But not like 90s butt rock, still like 60s mainstream classic butt rock.
Huh? Wait.
All sorts of butt rock.
Wait,
I loved all
Him
sorts
and I
of butt
had
rock.
this argument last night about what butt rock is.
Wait, okay. Explain, what's your definition
I
of butt
think
rock?
butt rock
I want to know
would
if
be
I'm
like
using it.
AC/DC and
Okay.
like shit like that. No.
Butt rock is like fucking Nickelback, Puddle of
Yeah.
Mud, 3 Doors Down, Creed's butt rock.
See, what I use butt rock as in like, I'm thinking like trucker who sits on their butt a lot. What do they hear on the radio?
That's what he thinks. He's like butt rock. I'm like, it's not butt rock.
But there's also
exactly, butt.
music that comes from a butt. You could.
I have
Creed.
some of that.
Nothing. Butt rock stems from radio stations that say we play nothing but rock.
Yeah, so I saw it Reach-Arounds and Susie Trash, and they opened for Agent Orange, and I thought both of their sets were like incredible. Like I think Reach-Arounds would have been playing like all the hunter-gatherer stuff, and then Susie Trash would have been playing what is that, like Supper Time? Is that the name of that album? Anyway, it's like the red one. And two of my like favorite albums, I think, because of that show.
Okay.
The thing is, Agent Orange came on, and I thought they fucking sucked. I was bored, and like I was just waiting for them to
Also
play
old,
Bloodstains, and they were like I don't mean to diss them. I don't think they were bad because they're old, but they were old, and I think that might have played into it.
Well, it was just the one guy from it.
Yeah, it was just one.
It was just like the rest of it was just a backing band.
It was like weird, like younger guys surrounding.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like Dead Kennedys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Do you tell you what's your first show?
I don't remember. Like if we're talking about first, I was probably an infant. Because my
'Cause-
dad would take me to shows as a young child. I think one of my earliest memories was probably being at the Joplin skate park at age 3 or 4, and whenever the bands would play, my dad would put earplugs in me and I would just run around. And I remember I would always gravitate towards the back because it was scary, and there was this dude with this huge green mohawk that would stand by a pole, and I would just like run around him and like look at him and run away and just freak him out. And just ruin his fucking night. Eve?
Mine's a lot less cool now. I mean, it's still cool, but I saw Foo Fighters for my first show.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Speaking of butt rock.
I fucking love the Foo Fighters.
Sure.
Some of it's a little butt
It's
rocky,
butt rock. It's post grunge.
but
Their first album's great. Yeah.
I love the Ray Gun. I love the self-titled album.
Yep.
I love Color in the Shape. But yeah, I saw them after they released Wasting Light,
Okay.
which also is a great album. Probably the last good album they ever put out.
Okay.
Did you listen to their last album they put out?
A little bit
Yeah, that's
It's
about what everyone
bad.
listened to. It was terrible. They had a song on there that was like almost the exact chord progression as like a Mac DeMarco song. So what are your guys' inspirations for like the music you do?
I guess Joy Division was like
Yeah.
one that like when we started the band, that was like what I was listening to a lot.
Which one of the albums?
Um,
Of their two, yeah.
I'm gonna be a little bit like quirky. I don't know if you've ever listened to like the Warsaw
Yeah.
tape.
Yeah.
Yeah. On YouTube.
That was
Real
good.
horrible to pull up if you're just trying to listen to it really quick or something. Yeah. But anyway, that was probably like when we started the band. But as it's gone on, like I really like there's a lot of stuff that like comes out of Indiana. Like there's like a Devo core scene. So they're just like imagine Devo but fast was like what they swear by. So you know, we don't like try to draw completely on that, but just that like what that elicits.
Sure.
That's like one trajectory. But also like a lot of like post punk, like Gang of Four is a band I really,
Yep.
really like. Uranium Club is a cool band out of Minneapolis that we like draw a lot upon. Me especially, but
I was probably also going through another Warsaw phase again. But I really wanted to do, I don't even know. It was like, I was listening to a lot of like Wire at the time, like the album Pink Flag,
Okay.
which is a post-punk band, in a similar vein to like Gang of Four. For a while, it was like a lot of like funk, honestly, with like bass lines. Eve.
It was Inspirations, right?
Yeah, inspirations.
Okay, yeah. I didn't have a Warsaw phase along with these two, but I did. I was getting into the like their main album that I cannot remember the name of. The one with the lines, Unknown Pleasures. Yeah, the shirt one.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
no fuck you.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
They made that T-shirt into a band.
They did.
So I think we were all like, similar headspace as far as like that goes. I I have to say this, and I'm gonna hate saying it, but I was really into King Gizzard at the time. I still am. I still am, but like I was like,
at the time.
there was a good year and a
I
half.
used to like Limp Bizkit, but I don't anymore.
Yeah. I like there was a good year and a half where I was like fully obsessed. Now I've kind of toned it back, but yeah, that was a big inspiration. I don't know if it really made it much into any of My Ancestors' music.
It doesn't
But-
sound like it, but
Yeah,
there's always there's always going to be some kind of subtle subconscious influence in there.
But I think honestly the main thing that got into especially the early music as far as I went was like Green Day.
Okay.
And like just I listened to Green Day a fuck ton when I was a kid.
Sure.
So like a lot of the things I've basically just stolen from like learning Green Day songs.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's the main stuff.
I remember when I first saw you guys. Well, you guys sound like Gang of Four. You guys turned me on to the Minutemen. So I listened to.
We didn't even talk about the Minutemen. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. Backtrack. So we force everybody in this band to watch We Jam Econo, which
What is
the Minutemen documentary.
Oh, okay.
And it is an imperative to watch for anybody. We also neglected to mention earlier that there is a fourth person in this band. Their name is Davey. They can't be here tonight because they're playing a show.
Okay.
But Davey was also forced to watch We Jam Econo. It must have been it must be the nerves.
The Ludes.
Yeah, it's the Ludes. Yeah, Mike Watt, D. Boone, and George Hurley collectively are some of my favorite musicians. Honestly, musicians. Together and separate. Like Mike Watt is one of my favorite bassists. George Hurley is an insane drummer, and D. Boone just, may he rest. Stolen from us too soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I take inspiration from D Boone on like all of my guitar playing. I just there's very few other guitar players who are they're so fluid without it sounding like smooth jazzy fluid. It's that way of like being energetically moving across like the entirety of the guitar, like just using the entire thing. And Mike Watt's the same way on bass. I mean, he's all of them just like fill their instruments. Like it's not, some of it is extremely technical and difficult, but some of it is them just having fun and just trying
I
to
wish
like
hardcore went that route and not the route that it did.
Yeah, because that's something that turned me off from like hardcore for a long time is I thought it was just this realm obsessed with like technicality
and beating each other up.
Yeah, that part honestly didn't turn me off that much.
Okay.
If people want to like
like
slam into each other,
no, that's
go
fine.
Fucking go at it.
That's fine. It's the when people are literally going and socking each other in the face or ripping each other's eyeballs. That has happened to me numerous times, and I don't go to hardcore shows anymore because of it.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm sorry to condone that behavior. I didn't mean. I hope you get beat up. No. Do you want to speak? Are you reaching?
Oh, what?
You're just kind of reaching at me.
I think I just got excited.
I got one more. This is for you.
Oh, it is?
I mean, not one more, but one around. So you mentioned Dan. So what was it? Your dad?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, earlier. So real quick, give a quick rundown of Dan in like the local music scene, because not everyone watching is gonna know Dan.
Okay.
Just
You want me to get
quick brief, like
quick rundown
two to
of
four
Dan?
sentences.
Were we supposed to name him as an inspiration?
No.
Is this like
No.
last question, like a setup?
No,
Nah,
no,
fuck
no,
that
no,
guy.
no.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy, Dan. JK. Just a little.
Love Dan.
No. My dad is most recently a drummer. In the past, a vocalist. Has been playing music since before I was born. Played in a lot of hardcore bands in Joplin.
Okay.
Well, a few in the 90s. Eventually started the Itch whenever I was little. and then was in a few more things. Introvert Party was pretty big. Not so much that one.
Well,
No,
it was
yeah.
a cover band.
It was a cover band.
That Dan joined.
Misery Stairs
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, he's known as Dan.
Yeah, just
A
Dan.
A lot of people know Dan.
What was it like growing up with Dan as your dad, and how has it helped you navigate the music scenes, both local and regional?
Growing up with my dad, early on, music, I didn't really understand what he was doing. I just was like kind of like a given. It's like, oh yeah, my dad plays music. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized exactly what he did, and he kind of kept it separate from me
Oh, really?
for a while. There would be like bands that would come and stay at our house sometimes, and I'd say like hi to them, and they would like go and like sleep in my room, and then I would sleep with my parents sometimes. But for a while, like I didn't really interact with that side of things too much.
Interesting.
Until I was a little bit older, like 10, 11. Eventually I started going to shows with him and shows by myself, and he just didn't really go much in depth with it. Like he would go on tour a few times, and I'd be like, oh, my dad's gone playing music. But yeah, I guess it was pretty influential though. I mean, he was a pretty big influence on my music tastes as a kid. Until I finally kind of broke free of that, but it was still like pretty foundational, I suppose.
So when we were first practicing with My Ancestor, Dan was usually upstairs because this was during COVID. He was working from home,
Sure.
so we'd have to practice like on his lunch break or like when he's like not on a call. And so there'd be like sometimes he would like yell down the stairs and be like, "Keep playing it sounds good." We're like, okay. And then he'd like come and like bang on the washing machine in time to us.
Nice.
And then there was other times where he's like, we'd like come up from practice. He's like, "You guys were really loud today." I was trying to take some calls, and it sounds like Eve was just trying to be really loud, or Fran was just trying to be really loud.
If Dan is anything, he's honest, and
That's good.
He is never given false praise. He will tell you when you're bad,
Okay.
and he'll tell you what he thinks. So there's been multiple times where it's like, you guys didn't sound great today. Like there would be shit like this. Like, yeah, I guess so. Even if his opinion is not asked, it will be provided at some point.
Okay.
And I mean, yeah, not everybody does stuff like that, and not everybody just tells you what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool. I mean, you grew up with Dan too. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah. I think Dan might have been a weirder character for me in all this, because I grew up with I didn't have to live with Dan all the time, but he was also like the closest family member. So like I thought Fran was really fucking cool when I was a kid. They like all the cool things that I liked, because Fran, I got to show my friends at Rogersville this inner city stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But like I
got to show them fucking.
yeah. I showed so many people Half-Life Full Life Consequences. But I think pretty much all of us were drawn to music as kids. My dad was really big into music, and for both my parents, music was kind of on a lot of the time. But Dan was actually playing music, and I really wanted to do that. So I really looked up to Dan when I was a kid, and then Fran started learning instruments before I did, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta get on that." You learn how to play drums, and I thought that was really cool. And then you learn how to play bass, and I hated you. because you could play bass and I couldn't. And you also had my brother's old bass. And I was convinced you stole it from me.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was so bad. Yeah. Anytime you would plug it in, there was like a 50-50 chance it would make the loudest noise you've ever heard. It was horrible. But yeah, like Dan was a really big inspiration. Like I didn't really listen to much of his music at the time because I was too young to like go to bars and stuff. But like it made me realize I could just go play. It didn't have to be like this big like stage arena that you had to you know, get into.
If Dan, a social worker from Missouri, can go and play music, anybody can go and play music.
Yeah, and that's like the biggest thing with an like someone that you look up to is like, you know, relating to them and thinking, wow, I can do that too. More so than being like, wow, what a rock star. I could never be like him or, you know, anything like that.
Especially being somebody that like everybody in the scene knows, like, oh, that's Dan.
I guess it kind of demystified the whole idea of being in a band from a young age, because it was like, people would be like, you know, my dad would walk around in his like fucking underwear and shit, and it was just like, well, your dad's in a band. I was like, yeah, he's a fucking dad though. You know, I guess it made it seem doable, you know.
So you guys are going on tour. Is this your first tour?
Yeah.
Wow. Who are you touring with?
We're touring with Ghost to Ghost.
I've heard of them.
Our friends
We're both releasing like an album.
at the same time.
Well, we have an
Around the same time.
we have like an EP, and they have an album.
Oh, okay.
And they're what, bubble grunge? Is that what they call themselves?
Oh no. Someone called them that and they all hate it.
They all hate it. They're a bubble grunge band.
All right. And who's your favorite local artist out of all the ones you guys have mentioned tonight?
Oh, before we move on from tour,
Oh, yes.
we are planning to go to Madison, Chicago, Springfield, Illinois, possible Evil Springfield. We're gonna investigate. Kansas City, Wichita, Oklahoma City, Fayetteville, Memphis, and then back to Springfield. Possibly Evil Springfield, but in Missouri.
Okay.
So, if you live anywhere there, come see us in June.
In June.
More, yeah. Come if you live in Springfield, Illinois. Come show us your evil side.
You got hillbilly Springfield, and you got like shitty, horrible Illinois Springfield.
I guess we stand on the matter. Yeah. If only there was a Springfield in Massachusetts, and then they could come and judge. Yeah, sorry, I didn't answer
your
the
favorite
question.
local artists.
My Ancestor, right?
No, I hate them. I hate My Ancestor. They always take too long switching. Kills the momentum. Horrible set. I'm trying to think. Someone else answer this.
Okay.
There's a lot
Oh,
of
no.
local bands I like.
Yeah, I love a lot of them. I think the easiest one that I could point to as like a favorite. They're not really. They're kind of a band still, but not really. The Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
They're psych band. Got into them right as King Gizzard was like putting out a whole bunch of shit. And I was in I loved psychedelic rock music for a little bit. But they were like some of the first people to like be really supportive of like just me going to like shows and stuff. They were very kind to me. Even though I had trouble just speaking. But yeah, I think that they're all great. Love those guys.
Slugs. Oh, Also Reach Arounds.
I like Daisy Chain a lot. I think they're like in a similar vein as us, and I think it's cool that there's more like punk that's like a little out there. They also cover Mommy Longlegs a lot, which immediately just they get points for me for that. I guess they're like the most. I enjoy what they're doing a lot.
Cool.
I also think I like Menace. Like when I've seen Menace, they've been cool. Really just like, I mean, Susie Trash and Slugs and Reach Arounds. Reach Arounds practiced in our garage for a while, so I really warmed up to them then. That was pretty cool. I really don't think there's that many like bad bands in Springfield. I think it's I do like Security Footage. Yeah, they don't switch at all, so they're like they can keep the momentum going.
For those unfamiliar, Eve is in Security Footage, it's another band.
Yes.
Pomfret, newest up and coming math rock band. Davy's in that. That's the point. I'm just plugging Davy.
Oh, wait, hold on. Transparence is also great. Ghost to Ghost. Yeah, fucking. I can't believe we didn't say Ghost to Ghost at our favorite bands like immediately. I love seeing Ghost to Ghost, but Transparence, great. Who else? Who else plays music here?
You guys ever eat a Tide Pod before?
I ate a dishwasher tablet when I was about 3.
Damn.
And so let me just start by saying I'm a trendsetter.
True.
Secondly, let me just say shout out Poison Control. That has just got to be like up there in terms of public services. I mean, they should be coming to schools.
My Ancestor wouldn't exist without Poison Control.
Exactly. Poison Control's probably saved me several times. I was in those cabinets as a kid. I was the kid that was in the news.
You're the reason they have the locks on the
They put the locks on the cabinets and on the tops of the bottles, and they changed the colors, the whole thing.
I'll retract my previous answer. Poison Control is probably my favorite band in Springfield, Missouri.
What's your favorite method of doing hard drugs?
Snorting.
True.
You say smorting?
Yeah, it's like you snort cocaine or like whatever. There are lots of drugs.
Yeah, I love boofing. I love that shit.
We're a couple of boofers.
I don't know.
A couple of boofers. Dear God, I hope Adolf Hitler is burning in hell permanently. And shout out hell. You're doing good things down there. Keep burning Hitler and the Nazis. And keep it going. I hope all bad people go to hell. And I hope they stay there forever, permanently burning.
Amen.
Facts. But I want to go to a different part of hell without Hitler. Amen.
Hey guys, this is Jace again from Milksack Records. Thanks for tuning in to the second episode of Getting Milked. If you'd like to hear more from My Ancestor, you can find them on tour this June or check out their Instagram and Spotify links in the description below. If you liked this video, be sure to slap silly that panting like button. Otherwise, leave us a comment below telling us why we suck. Lastly, if you missed our last podcast episode, you can find it somewhere on screen now. Thanks for watching.
My poopy hole is